Chapter 28. Under Two Layers of Oppression. Tan Lap Camp was not a newly built facility. Contrary to its name, Tan Lap means newfound. Tan Lap was a model re-education camp under the Vietnamese communist regime, having been established as early as 1954 after the communists seized control of northern Vietnam. Initially, it was used to detain French-era officials. During the Humanities and Masterpieces cultural political movement of 1955 in the North, it was repurposed to imprison writers and poets with anti-communist ideologies. Tan Lap also served as a detention center for landlords during the land reform campaign. Following 1954, during the Vietnam War, it housed American prisoners of war. Before our arrival, the camp was used to re-educate juvenile delinquents and street children. With such a history, Tan Lap had evolved into a meticulously organized re-education camp. The camp's organizational structure comprised two main components: the Vietnamese Communist police units managing the camp and the detainees themselves. The Communist police officers were divided into two groups: the Management Board and the Cadre Council. The Management Board, or Camp Command, consisted of police officers overseeing general operations in the camp, such as the camp chief, deputy chiefs responsible for each sub-camp, named K, and other deputies in charge of planning, education, enforcement, and security. The Cadre Council had two main sections: the re-education cadres, who supervised detainees in each team, and the armed cadres, or security cadres, tasked with guarding the camp and monitoring detainees working outside. The detainees were organized into teams and groups. Each team consisted of 30 to 40 detainees, led by a team leader chosen by the Management Board or re-education cadres. Teams were further divided into 3 or 4 groups depending on their tasks. Each group had about 10 members and was overseen by a group leader responsible for their labor, as assigned by the team leader or cadres. A unique aspect of Tan Lap was the so-called competition committee, which included the competition board and the self-management council, composed of team leaders. These acted as the eyes and ears of the management board and cadre council. When we first arrived at Tan Lap, the competition board was controlled by criminal detainees, with Bitch, a cross-eyed man with protruding teeth, and Koi holding power over the camp's activities. They were highly influential. Once, when I was summoned to their office to write slogans, I witnessed a planning cadre approach, requesting a few detainees for a task. Bitch, lying in his private room while another detainee massaged him, shouted, "Tell him to wait, I'm busy." I couldn't fathom what kind of prisoner he was. If he were a regular detainee, he would have been severely punished. Meanwhile, Koi sat every morning at the infirmary, deciding whether detainees could stay back due to illness. Anyone wanting to avoid labor had to bribe him. While detainees received only a small bowl of inferior food, these two had abundant meals. While detainees were confined in cells, they had private rooms and personal servants for laundry and ironing. They were like kings of the camp. No one knew their exact crimes or sentences. Rumors among criminal detainees suggested that Bitch was once a financial officer in the Ministry of Finance in Hanoi, convicted of embezzlement and sentenced to 20 years. Koi was reportedly a local officer who killed his wife and was sentenced to life imprisonment. The camp's management trusted them entirely, granting them significant authority. In 1978, some detainees from the former regime of the South joined the competition board. Koi was transferred to K1, but Bitch remained the head of the board until his release in 1981. I do not wish to judge or condemn the actions of the competition board members from the South. My purpose is to recount what occurred in Tan Lap. For those who were there, I believe they already know too much about these competition boards. For outsiders, it may be hard to believe their actions were real. Sometimes, Even I wondered whether these individuals were communist officers or re-education detainees. Nguyen, Bin, Tu, Ju, and others under Bich's leadership acted just like him. Detainees were oppressed by two forces, the cadres and the competition board. The communist sinister tactic of throwing stones and hiding their hands involved using the competition board as their tool to run the camp. The cadres often claimed that the party and state's policies prohibited physical punishment or abuse of detainees, attributing any misconduct to individuals rather than official policy. They distanced themselves from the competition board's actions, stating they were solely the board's responsibility. Many detainees harbor resentment toward the competition board rather than the communist cadres, forgetting that the board executed directives from the camp's management. The competition board stood outside cells to observe, eavesdrop, and criticize detainee meetings. They maintained their own network of informants among the detainees. They summoned rule-violating detainees to their office for beatings. They forced ill detainees to work. These actions fueled animosity among detainees. This communist strategy proved highly effective in re-education camps, particularly in Tan Lap. Detainees feared individuals like Bich, Nguyen, Bin, Tu, and Ju more than cadres like Tui, Bang, or Trung.